So, pure analog experience. I think we should talk about that because the 993 represents what would be Porsche's pinnacle 911. The most mature, the most developed, the most, I guess you could say, peak analog driving experience. With minimal electronic intervention that this car has, I mean, the only thing that it really has is ABS. The driving experience is one that you really need to pay attention to. You need to drive the car and understand the feedback that it gives you back from the road feel and the steering wheel, the little pitter patter that 911s give you when you're driving quickly. That driving experience requires precision, and the 911 does really give you that full control experience and that full involvement. Now, while this car is not fast by any means, it's clocked at being 5.3 to 60, but I mean, I don't think there's anybody slam shifting these cars to try and get there. This car is not quick. I would say that my Bronco is probably faster from a standstill and from a roll. And that's a Bronco with 35s on it, 2021 V6 twin turbo. So the car is not heralded as being fast, so it has to be that driving experience that makes up for it. Now, whether or not you think speed is the thing that's most important to you, I will say as I've gotten older, how fast a car goes is not necessarily the experience that I want to have anymore. Speed is cheap nowadays if you really think about it. I mean, you can get an electric car and you'll be destroying pretty much everything in your path. There's more to driving experience than just outright speed. So it's really, really imperative that you get out on the right roads and really fully experience what these analog cars have to offer. Because I can tell you that a fast car slow versus a slow car fast, I know which one I've been taking, and you know which one I've been picking. So let's talk about in this segment, the classic meeting modern. And what do I mean by that? It's what I previously said, that I view this car as a resto mod project from Porsche. Now, 30 years have passed to get to the 993 in terms of 911 years. And its age shows just even in the parts interchangeability and the way the car feels. I mean, once you sit into the 911 and see those hinged pedals and get a feel for it and get a feel for the driving position, it's slightly awkward. It's very different. It feels like an old car. If you sat in a Beetle, you'd be pretty familiar with actually some of the controls. It's pretty funny. But I think this quirkiness is something that we as car enthusiasts enjoy in a car. It's the reason why it's special to drive. Now, I'm not gonna say that a crap driving experience will make a car fantastic. I mean, sometimes it does. Sometimes it makes it more fun. But sometimes those little quirks make just the driving experience that much better and much more special. Now, despite being so analog, the 993 was actually surprisingly advanced. The 993 introduced the multi-link rear suspension that significantly improved and changed the handling characteristics of the 911. You actually got some stability without sacrificing that classic Porsche feel. Now, some driving enthusiasts and 911 enthusiasts would tell you that the torsion bar suspension is better than the multi-link and vice versa. Look, I don't want to drive my car and have to worry about it wanting to rip out and crash. I think having the multi-link rear suspension was a good call on Porsche's part because it gives so much more stability and confidence when driving quickly through the mountain roads and even in the rain. I'm confident in driving this car in the rain. That is not gonna snap and try and kill me. Sometimes those things are good, but I would say as I've gotten older, that's not such a good characteristic to have. I used to own an MR2, and you can probably guess where that MR2 landed in a tree. Anyways, the 993 balances that old school charm with just enough modern refinement, in my opinion, to make it that ideal classic car that you can confidently drive and enjoy regularly. And that's the coolest thing about the 911 and about air-cooled 911s. I love driving this car. I love driving it to the store. I love driving it to go and get some coffee. I love driving it to Costco to do Costco runs. I mean, it's just so cool just to have such a car that you can just get in and just enjoy. I mean, I've been driving these raucous cars for so long that having a pleasurable experience of just being able to get into your car and not be all sweaty and be all fatigued, it's kind of nice. And the driving characteristics that the 911 has, I mean, that slow car, fast feel. I mean, you get to hammer it even just driving around in regular traffic. It's a really cool experience. So that classic meeting modern, I think, is a really cool blend that the 993 brings to the table. Hey guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this episode of Peak Machines with the 993. Next time we're going to be concluding this series on the 993 and just my final thoughts. So see you next episode.